Alright, welcome back everyone. Here we are with the 04 RTV 900 Kubota. Finally getting to some assembly here. Finally getting to the piece of fun stuff. It's been quite a while over here, a couple months over here on the restoration. I shouldn't even say restoration. I guess I should say preservation. So let's say that this is the preservation of the machine. I got the frame finally done. The new rails, the new bends, all the steel's all new. I don't particularly like shiny. I hate shiny paint, but this is POR, the paint over rust paint. Even though this was new steel, POR does a good job, especially on new steel. You don't have to worry about UV protection because it doesn't like UV protection, the POR. You can use other stuff if you're going to be out in the sun, but I'm not worried about sun exposure. So POR is great for this. They didn't have it in flat black, so it's shiny. Not a big deal. I don't care about the looks. I care about the quality and how long it's gonna last. So yeah, this is the chassis. Both sides were redone. If you were watching the videos, all done, fish plated, all the way back. Finally got the diesel tank in. I painted this last night. So it all, everything's POR. Well, everything's POR'd. So never have to worry about rust again. In my lifetime, anyway. I did buy some other gray paint. I'm going to paint everything gray. I just wanted to see how the matchup was right here. This is gray that I got. I'm not buying the Kubota paint. It's too expensive. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can get something close to it that matches up pretty close. I'll give you the paint number if it's needed. I do have some vinyl paint too I bought, which I've done a lot of vinyl interiors before in automotive cases. As long as you have the material, the vinyl or whatever you're painting is very, very clean, it'll come out beautiful. Like just for an experiment yesterday, I painted the steering wheel cover. I popped it off. Oh, I don't want to drop it. This was painted yesterday. As long as you clean your material very well, because more than likely it has Armor All and wax on it. You got to get it off, and it will come out like this. It's perfect. This actually came out perfect. I don't think there's even a piece of dust or a flaw in it. Got lucky. I'm not sure what's supposed to be in the middle there, if there's a Kubota symbol or something. Maybe somebody will let me know in the comments. I'd like to put it in if it is. But anyway, yeah. If you want to, it doesn't matter what kind of vinyl it is or inside material. I'll put that on later so I don't break it. You can do it. Just just take your time. I was thinking about doing the dash, but I'm probably not gonna. It's just overkill. I'm getting too deep into this as far as time. I bought this to use on my cabin, and I'm lucky it's winter time. I'd be in trouble if I was doing this. I have so much other work to be doing. So anyway, yeah, that's the chassis. I got everything apart right now and being painted individually. So while I'm doing that, now that everything's welded, I'm going to do my front axles today. Maybe I'll do a little bit of video on the front axles. I'm going to replace them. Hopefully I got the right ones because I bought them 2 months ago. I probably can't return them if they are the wrong ones. But anyway, all right, here's the floor. I did end up throwing out the original floor. This is a piece of aluminum. I couldn't see using steel in the floor, especially with all the mud and the rot that always happens. So I got a big piece of aluminum, traced it out, cut it out for the fender, for the wheel wells. The wheel wells, these are the holes for the wheel well, where the wheel wells bolt. 1, 2. There's 2 bolts to hold each wheel well in on the bottom, and then 4 across the top. Here's the cutout for the differential lock on the rear. This right here is truck bed coating. This is the first coat. I rolled it on. I'm going to put multiple coats of truck bed coating on this. Obviously, for reasons, it's the floor. I mean, I'm going to have a rubber mat over it anyway, but I still want it durable, so there's going to be a few coats of it on there. Here's the bottom. I'll do a few coats of the bottom. This was an old speed limit 65 sign on the highway. that they got at the scrap yard. When they change all the signs over on the highway, they get the contract and they got all the old aluminum. You can buy it for pennies on the dollar, literally. That's where I get all my aluminum from, all my steel from the scrap yard. A few other things I got at the scrap yard yesterday. I got this this old Craftsman chainsaw cover. See how it's got this lip on the end? Usually it would go into the box and keep it from sliding out of the box. What I'm going to be doing is mounting it up here. Not on this side, on the driver's side. You can buy these mounts, but why buy them when I got this for 50 cents? I'll make a mount right here. And I can slide, I'll cut the bottom out because my chainsaw bar is a lot longer. And I'll be able to, this will be a chainsaw mount. For people that, you know, if you want to use your, rather than putting your bed flopping around, it'll mount the chainsaw here. You can mount it any way you want, obviously. Like you can mount it in the back. So I got that yesterday at the scrap yard. Along with, here's the air box. And the air filter, where the air gets taken, the intake. It's right by the rear tire. I live on a mountain. I live on dirt roads. So these things are made for off-road. So this is terrible design. It's just going to suck in all the dirt and dust from the rear tire right here. And they do make the high mount kit, so it goes up here. I don't know how much it costs. I would guess $150, $200. Well, while I was at the scrap yard, you can find these all over the road. Here we go. I haven't made the design yet, but I'll show you exactly what I'm doing here. This cost me $10. Here's a nice looking top here. Look at that. I think that's a nice stack. I'll cut it clean because it's got a little bit of wear mark there. Cut it straight across. But yeah, this is for home light. This doesn't mean the machine's going to go 170 miles an hour now. It may, I don't know, I'll have to check it, but putting this on, maybe I will get 170 miles an hour out of that. We'll have to see. But this is going to be the new stack. I'll make a mount here. I'll also make it so, of course, rain can't get in there. I'll have it so it's under the roof. But they got all sorts of attachments for these. They screw on, they clip on good. Here's the bottom one, which I'm going to use. Oops, here we go. So, here we go. I got to make the adapter now to go from the small hose to this. And then probably, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. There's a bunch of different ways I could do it here. I could mount it in here like this. Actually, I can't because that's where it will be taking the air before the filter. I'd have to look at the way the system is. More than likely, I got to adapt it to the small hose here, but that's not a big deal. We can figure that out. Or put this filter setup somewhere else, or even put the filter somewhere else. Like, there's a lot of different things here, but you have the idea. You can go to the scrap yard, get an old leaf blower thing. You got the fittings right here, nice plastic. This is flexible. Anyway, there's what you can do if you're handy. You can save yourself some money as long as you have the time. I happen to have the time, so I would rather save the money. So, that is that. I also found, I'm not even sure what this is for. This may be, looks like some type of glove box, maybe for a tractor, because it has a drain hole on the bottom with a tube. But it has a cap on it. Sorry for the lousy camera work. Some more stuff I got from the junkyard. I'll show you that in a minute. Anyway, I've got this here. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount it yet. I know where it's going. But here is, I want a glove box. There's a cutout here for a glove box. I don't know if there's supposed to be one here or not. But this, once it's painted black, with, gray with my vinyl paint, fabric paint, this will, sorry for this lousy camera work, I'll have a glove box in here. I'll have it mounted up in there, make sure it's high enough and away from your people's knees or passengers' knees and stuff. So I can put my cell phone in there, keys, whatever, whatnot. But that was another 25 cents for the glove box. I also had other pieces here. These are center consoles from an old Jeep and stuff. I was going to use that as a glove box, and I had the armrest there. You can use that, paint that. It's a little deep though, so I decided to go with the other one. I've got some. This is it's a molding, and I forgot what went through this. I believe it was a shifter for a tractor. The shift lever went through this. I took this, well, bought this, so they probably didn't charge me for it. I bought this to put on the underside of my floor, on the aluminum. Only a little bit of this shows. That hole right here is just for accessibility to get the floor on and off. That shifter, that diff lock, I mean, only moves a very little bit left and right. It doesn't go this way, it goes this way. So this will be mounted here, and that way the diff lock will move tightly inside of here. This will all be covered up with the rubber mat. So that'll seal up the cab even better there. Just doing all these little things I'm trying to do because I am going to put heat in here. That's a whole nother story. Being up in Maine, I'm going to want heat. So I will be making my own doors. And everything I'm doing here, so I want to make it sealed. I want to seal the cab up very good so the heat will work. Even these are my finished, well, not finished, they haven't been painted yet, primed or painted. But these are my finished inner fender wells. I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but there's just so much going on. These are my finished fender wells. I did a few extra steps the factory didn't. I even used automobile seam sealer along where there was a weld. So it's flexible seam sealer here. The factory doesn't do this, but I put a piece of square tubing across the whole bottom of this. It stiffens it up a lot. And that's where I welded my mounting tabs. So this can get mounted to the floor. When this gets mounted to the floor, I'm also going to have a rubber door seal underneath this. So this will be sealed, especially with the water and everything coming through. This is the fender well. You don't want stuff seeping into your floor. To do all the preventive stuff that you can. So I'm going to have a seal here also. So nothing can get underneath, or no water or dust or whatnot can get in there. And also, like I said, every little bit counts for heat. So these I'm going to be priming. And I'm not sure. They should be painted gray like the Kubota, but I think I'm going to use the truck bed coating I got here. I have 2 gallons of this stuff. I got it on Facebook Marketplace. I think I paid $50 for 2 gallons. So I got plenty of this stuff. I think I'm going to use the truck bed coat, especially since that's where your feet go and it's always going to get rubbed off and stuff. So I need something pretty durable there. Which also brings me to, while I was at the junkyard, anybody can be doing this. If you have a scrap yard, lawnmowers or anything like that, where you're at, go to the scrap yard, get this stuff. It'll save you a lot of money. There's a lot of different ideas you can come up with for this stuff. I got so much stuff going on here, I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Wanted to show you a little something that you can get from old tractors on the side of the road even. Gosh, where the heck did I do with it? Walking around over here making a video and I'm looking for stuff. Not too good. Oh, there it is. It's underneath my nose. Which brings me to another thing. This nose, I'm probably going to end up bringing this to the body shop and fixing the cracks. Because I'm an idiot. Make that look even better. Plus the cracks are about to happen when it falls when I turn around. Anyway, yeah, here's the original floor mat. Let's put this so it stays a little straight. These came from tractors. Here we go. You can get these off any tractor on the side of the road. These are the floor mats. I mean the side where your feet would go on a tractor. See it says Craftsman here? Still real sticky. These are 2 from a Cub Cadet, I believe, right here. I see it's bent a little from the cold. You want to keep these straight. I don't want this to bend on me. starting to develop a memory. You don't want them to develop a memory. You have to get a heat gun and bring them back to straight. So anyway, here's the two Craftsman rubber mats. Got these from a junk tractor. I have a couple ideas for these. One is once these are primed and painted, maybe I'll put one right across here, because this is really where your foot's going to be resting most of the time, I think, if it's not on the floorboard. I'll have to look and see when you're sitting in it. But yeah, you got this. I also had a couple other ideas. When the aluminum's here, once the floorboards are in, it actually fits really nice right here. I'll show you what all this was mocked up again after, but you'll get the idea. It's a nice rubber mat there for your feet. I also have these two right here, which came off, I don't know if a Cub Cadet, I think, maybe a John Deere, I don't remember. They were straight. I got to straighten them back out. That's why you don't want to leave them like that in the cold. Another idea I had, where your feet go. They can go here. I don't know about under the pedals. I'll see how much clearance I got. But I did have an idea of having them go like this. I think it was, I don't remember. I'll show you after, but you get the idea. You can get these rubber, nice thick heavy rubber. These are actually plastic things for your feet to go on. You know, it's a little extra. They could go across here. They do match up with one another, so they'll look uniform. All these little things that, you know, that help out. So, here we go. I got another set from Facebook Marketplace the other day. I was looking for a rim. I was looking for people's help on the forum. And here we go. I got a set. These rims actually don't even have rust on them. I got 4 factory Kubota rims. The tires, actually all 3 tires hold air. They're not the best in the world, but they will work. There's only 1 tire that's bad. The rest actually hold air. And the rims are perfect. I wanted one for a spare. That's all I really needed. But I got all 4 of these tires for $100. Tires and rims for $100 off a Marketplace. And it's not easy to find the 5 lug anymore because of the older machines. So this is really nice, especially since these tires, I don't know how well I'm going to like these tires. I got them very cheap, so I put them on there, and I needed some tires at the time. So I probably get the factory tires, like the tread that belong on it, like that eventually when I have a little extra money to spend. But it's nice to know I'll have a spare now. You know, I'll have to match up whatever I'm using, but it's nice to have a spare. What else? I made the battery mount finally. The battery's mounted in there. That's not going anywhere. What I did was I welded a piece of angle line on an angle in there, so the round part of the metal hits the notch in the battery on the back side. On the front side, where the space is, there's usually a wedge here to hold the battery in, because you don't want pressure going into the battery. You want pressure going down. I got a nice chunk of 1/2 inch thick aluminum, wedged it. I tapped it with quarter 24, I believe they were quarter 24 thread. Yeah, I tapped the aluminum with quarter 24s. I got 2 stainless steel screws, and I screwed this into here so it holds it nice and tight. And it's aluminum, so I don't have to worry about that ever rusting or rotting. There will be a fender well here blocking the battery from the dirt and the mud, obviously. I'll be making something up for that too. There's still getting there, but there is still so much to do. I'm going to have to the point where I'm going to have to start writing a list pretty soon. Because, like I said, I'm all over the place, even with the filming. So much going on. But I did want to show these fender wells. I have the templates for these. And if anybody has rot, or there's a rotted out, they don't sell them on the internet. There's nowhere to buy these, which is pretty unfortunate for Kubota, because they could probably sell these. They probably sell these things for $400, $200 a piece, and people would have no choice but to buy them or make them. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would just prefer to buy them. Me, I have time and I have experience. I don't have money since I decided to retire. So I just do this stuff for myself now. But somebody needs a set, let me know. I have the templates. There's the a bunch of extra aluminum I have from the signs. I bought a whole bunch at once. And I guess really that's it for now. Just wanted to give an update on what's going on with the Kubota. I'm going to do the axles, like I said, in a few minutes. I drained the knuckle oil. I'm just glad that there was some in there. So I'm going to replace that with the Kubota stuff, wherever I put it. Oh, it's right there, so I didn't forget the UDT2. And I know I'm new at this stuff, but I'm going to tell you from everything I've learned, and from a friend of mine that works for Kubota. He's been here for 28 years. He started doing these when they came out in 04. He knows everything about these machines, and it makes a big difference. You have to use the Kubota filters and the Kubota fluids. You have to do it. It makes a difference. That's not me selling Kubota stuff at all. I'm all for saving money, believe me. But I'm also for making sure that things are going to work properly, especially when it comes to these transmissions. So you got to use the Kubota stuff when it comes to the fluids and filters. You know, other stuff I'm sure you can skimp on if you have to. I didn't skimp on the alternator, obviously. I probably should have. That's my mistake. I spent $300 on this alternator when I could have got it for $80. I didn't know at the time, you know. Anyway, we're getting there. I don't know what they said, if I should be painting all of this gray. I am going to go over this stuff. I don't like the shininess, so I'm either going to go matte black for more protection on some Rust-Oleum oil base, or I'm going to just paint it gray. I'm thinking gray would be the right way to go, guys, but let me know what you think. There's the gray I'm using. There's the factory gray, and then there's my gray. Mine's a little bit lighter. It hasn't dried all the way. It will be a little bit darker than that, but there's not a huge difference in color. You can notice it there. But I'm not buying the Kubota paint. Even the guy at the parts counter told me, you know, it's ridiculous, the price on that stuff. Especially for touch-up. You know, if I want to touch stuff up here and there. Not that I'm really worried about it, but if you can go buy a spray bomb at any Home Depot, you're better off, or Tractor Supply, than having to go to Kubota every time. I guess that's all the things I've done so far. I can confirm that there's the fan I used that came with the new motor that I put in. It's a 5-blade, and the fan blades are probably half an inch. I didn't measure exactly, so don't take my word. They're about a half an inch bigger. They are bigger, and they're also obviously 5 blades rather than 4. And running this thing, the fan will never even kick on now. This temperature gauge that's working, I mean, Jesus, that needle barely comes up at all. So for anybody out there whose machine is running warm, I definitely suggest you use the other fan that goes on the tractors. Here is the stock fan on these, this little tiny 4-blade. And there is a big difference again here. Look at the difference in this. Now that we're holding up, these are hub centric, but let me see here. It's tough to see exactly. The camera is tough to tell there. But this is about an inch difference on every fan blade. Not to mention there's an extra blade. So you can imagine the cooling that this thing, the new fan blade does. And it will not hit the seat. But now that I'm bringing this up here, let me show you something, because you do need to do this. Here's the cutout in the back of the panel where the fan goes. This is flexible, obviously. Even when this is bolted in, I tried everything. I mocked it all up. When this is bolted in, this is your seat. This rest on the frame on each side, right here and on the other side. If you're bouncing around, or if you have somebody sitting in the middle, this will flex a little bit. And you only have a 1/4 of an inch space between the factory fan, the new fan, and that. There's a 1/4 inch space. had my niece sit on it, not my niece, my friend sit on it and move around a lot on it. I looked at the clearance. Doesn't look like it's going to hit, but it's close. So, two things you can do. One is you can add a 1/4 inch spacer right here. You go tack weld it on or nut and bolt it. Or you can just bolt a 1/2 inch spacer, 1/4 inch spacer to on the underside of that. The other thing is, it's not so much the up and down. The flexible is the back, going back. That's where it gets closest. And the only thing stopping that plastic from moving back, flexing backwards, is this. Look, and this flexes. This is the old seatbelt mount. So what I think I'm going to be doing is, for safety, I'm going to get a couple metal tabs, and I'm going to weld the tab from this, from the wire plate, the mount there, to the seatbelt mount. What it's going to do is pull this forward a little bit. That means this will stop the plastic from going back into the fan. It's like I said, it's close. I don't think it's going to hit ever, even under extreme. I'm going for extreme conditions. I don't think it will hit. But to be for security, I am going to use this to bring it forward a little bit. And also add aluminum 1/4 inch space right here. With doing that, both of these, you're never going to hit. I don't think it will hit anyway, but you just want to be safe. You know, go for the extreme. No, I'll never have to worry about that in the back of my mind. It's plastic to plastic, not like it's going to do any big damage, but it will sound terrible when it happens. I can assure you, it sounds terrible when your knuckles hit the fan, because that already happened to me like 3 times. You know, of course, your knuckles hit the fan the first time, and then you do it again like an idiot, and then you do it again a 3rd time. I guess you don't learn. The other thing I'd like to know about this is, somebody's watching this video, or somebody from the group here on the forum is watching this. I read about the harsh stopness when you let off the go pedal. Let's say the go pedal, the accelerator pedal. When you let off the accelerator pedal, how these things stop. I read about that. Anyway, as you see this sitting here is how I took it for a ride the other day, for the first ride. I had the tires on, obviously, but it looked just like this. So I decided to sit down right here, put this thing in reverse slowly, put it in drive, and hit the go pedal down the driveway. Well, when I got to the end of the driveway and let off the pedal to stop, well, I ended up in a different zip code. My machine stopped beautifully on the end of the driveway. Those tires skidded about 6 inches. The machine stopped at the end of the driveway here. I ended up 2 towns over in a different zip code. By the time I got a bus, caught a bus, got all the way back to my town, the machine was still sitting there idling, and I says, gosh, you got to do something about that harsh stopping. So if somebody out there knows about this harsh stopping or what they did, let me know. I haven't talked to my friend yet, like I said, who works on these. When I'm all done with this, he's going to go through it and do all the adjustments. He said to check everything. He can tweak this thing up, he said, for me. Check the pressures on the trainee, and he's going to do a bunch of stuff and go through the adjustments. I'm sure that he could probably adjust this thing from what I'm reading. They're all over the place for adjustments. But yeah, when you let off the gas pedal on this thing, it skidded about, I don't know, 6 inches. And that was on pavement. That's pretty harsh. Especially, being thrown a couple towns over. Luckily, I didn't get hurt. Anyway, that's it for this. This video is way too long as it is. It's oh my God, a half hour. Once I get this together again, I'll have another update. So, thanks for watching.